Well, hi. So, welcome to take two on my Blu-ray Pastels collection video. Um, this is Richard, Vintage Thrift Guy on Etsy, and I wanted to give you a little um, look at my Blu-ray Pastels collection, which is up to 91 pieces right now. 91 and counting, I guess you could say. So, to start with, I'm going to give you a little history about Blu-ray Pastels. It was made by the Taylor Smith Taylor Company. Um, it was introduced in the summer of 1938 and discontinued in 1961. The initial offering consisted of four colors: the Persian Cream, which is the yellow; the Sharon Pink, which is the pink; the Windsor Blue, which is blue; the Surf Green, which is right there. And then in the late 40s and early 50s, they added a fifth color, which is called Chatham Gray. It didn't prove to be very popular. This is the Chatham Gray Salt and Pepper Shaker. It's the only Chatham Gray pieces I have in the Blu-ray. So it was discontinued. As such, the Blu-ray pieces in Chatham Gray color are the most expensive and the most difficult to find. So we'll go a little bit here, piece by piece. I actually took some more notes this time, so I knew what I actually had and could describe things properly. I guess we'll start here. So this is a teapot in Sharon Pink, and I ended up picking this up, I think on eBay at a really good price. It's in perfect condition. And the thing about Blu-ray, you can always tell when it was manufactured by the back stamp. Unfortunately, I pick up the one item that does not have a back stamp. Let's try again. We'll check this plate. And I can't read that one, but this one I can read. So, back stamp. It says TS&T, which stands for Taylor Smith & Taylor, Blu-ray Pastels, USA, and this says 149, which means it was produced in January 1949. So you can tell the age of every piece that you have, and you can sometimes tell if they're from the same collection or not, just based on the age. So back to the teapots. We've got the teapot in Sharon Pink, and I got this one either on eBay or Etsy. It's the teapot in the Persian Cream. However, it came with a busted up lid when it arrived. I glued it back together. I contacted the seller, and they were nice enough to just refund my money and told me to keep the teapot. So the teapot itself is in excellent condition. The lid is cracked, but what I did get was a, if I can put my hands on it, I got a replacement lid in the Windsor Blue. So that's the cool thing about the Blu-ray, is everything mixes and matches perfectly. So I could do that. Over here we've got a sugar bowl in the Windsor Blue, and I have a replacement lid for that, which happens to be in the Persian Cream. So if I wanted to, I could make a tea set service, or place settings, or set a table with a combination of the blues and the yellows together. And that also would apply to the cups and saucers. Now the cups and saucers, here's one in yellow, and that has a chip on the bottom. A lot of these items were from my family, hand-me-downs, heirlooms, other ones I've collected over the years, piece by piece. It used to be fairly easy to find them. That saucer's got a big chip in it. But here we could go with that yellow saucer and a blue cup. And mix and match as is. So we've got a bunch of the cups. They're called a footed cup and saucer. A bunch of those. I found some on eBay just today of 3 cups and saucers at a really low price. So I put a bid on those. It'd be nice to get some additional cups and saucers because I don't have very many of those. And those are definitely all hand-me-downs from my family. We've got a double egg cup here. We've got 2 of them, one in the Sharon Pink and one in the Persian Cream. So you would put your hard-boiled egg in here, crack it, take the shell off, flip it over, put it in there, add your salt and pepper and butter and whatever you wanted, hot sauce, and eat it out of that side. Here we have a collection of 5 salt and peppers. We've got 2 blue, 1 pink, and 2 of the Chatham Gray. You could mix and match. You could have, you know, a salt and pepper in the blue. You could have 1 pink and 1 blue, 2 gray, gray and pink, whatever kind of combination you want to do. We've got 2 creamers here. This one is a hand-me-down from my family's collection. My mom probably started collecting this either when she was in high school or right after she graduated high school in anticipation of her marriage, because this was probably their initial, my mom and dad's initial dinnerware collection. Luray Pastels ended up being Taylor Smith & Taylor's most popular dinnerware collection ever. Ironically, it's next to impossible to find anywhere except in a vintage consignment shop or on eBay or Etsy, where you're going to pay, you know, top dollar, or replacements. This one is the only one that I've kind of found recently at like Savers. It's a creamer in the Sharon Pink. Now the thing about these is I always use them not only as a creamer, but if you add a saucer and the creamer together, you've got like a perfect gravy boat that's removable. But they also made a gravy boat, and I've got the Persian Cream one here, again handed down from my family. It has a big old crack in it, so I would like to replace that at some point, but it has the attached underplate, and the ear is worn off there. We've got 2 of the sizes of the oval serving platters, and my friend Michelle recently picked this one up. She was very excited to find her first piece of Luray. I think there is a smaller one than that. I don't have one. We've got 2 oval serving vegetable bowls. They're both in the Sharon Pink. I've got 2 of the round serving bowls, and I think they're a 9-inch bowl. One in pink and one in yellow. This bowl is kind of interesting. I used this as a cereal bowl as a kid. It was my favorite bowl, and I've used it into adulthood. It does have kind of a hairline fracture in it, but I'm going to start taking extra special care of it, because I always thought it was like a cereal bowl or an oatmeal bowl, but upon doing some investigation recently, I realized that it is the smallest size in the very rare Luray nesting bowl collections, and that's a 5-inch nesting bowl, and in pristine condition sells for like 180 bucks. So I don't know if I'll be eating my cereal out of this anymore. I might switch my cereal up to one of these also kind of rare lug handled soup bowls. They're more rare than the rim soup or fruit or berry bowls. So I've got a nice collection of like 5 of those. 1, 2, 3, 5 of the regular rimmed bowls. This is interesting. You can kind of see over there. I'll spin around. It's the large serving platter, and it has a dwarf pine decal added to it, which sometimes they did. Some Luray is decorated. This one has that, but then it also is stamped in gold. Compliments of G.D. Doohan Furniture Company from Port Arthur, Texas. And the piece is from 1954, I think. So this was probably like a free giveaway when you either visited the store or made a purchase, maybe of a kitchen table or something like that. So that's really kind of rare, one-of-a-kind collectible. I've always referred to these as mixing bowls, but they're actually the large salad bowl. This one I got fairly recently. This yellow one is a hand-me-down from my family. Okay, the plates came in a variety of sizes. We'll start with the largest. So this is the dinner plate size. This one happens to be from 1954. So I've got I've got 5 of those. Let me just refer to my notes. They're a 10-inch dinner plate. One step down are these, which I have more of these than anything else, is the 9¼ inch luncheon plates. I actually kind of prefer this size to the dinner plate. People ate smaller meals back in the 50s and 40s. They didn't have huge plates like we do today. That's why they tend to be slimmer and thinner and in overall better shape. We step down again from that. We've got the 7 3/8 inch dessert plate, or also known as a pie plate. And I only have like 3 of these. So I'd like to get some more of those. You can probably pick them up fairly inexpensively. And then what I have the most of plate-wise is, let's separate things out here, is this collection of bread and butter plates. They're 6 3/4 inch, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 10 of those. So, and then the pieces I don't have, there was also a 8 3/8 inch salad plate. There was a 10 1/8 inch grill plate or divided plate, and then there was a 14 1/4 inch chop plate. They also made an 11-inch handled cake plate, which is worth tons of money if you ever come across one, or if you have one. I would definitely be interested in purchasing it from you. Let's see what we've forgotten here. Okay, so we've got the sugar, the creamers, the footed cups. They also made a set of miniature sugar and creamer for demi-tasse size and demi-tasse size cups and saucers. They made a chocolate set that had its own set of cups. They made a coffee pot. They made water pitchers. They made tumblers. These were all kind of very rare items, and they made obviously like a covered butter dish, which I would love to find at some point. That's one of my wishes. They made nut dishes, ashtrays, and vases. So now here's a few interesting things. This right here, I found it in Savers, I think. Looks like a lovely piece of Luray, wouldn't you think? In the Chatham Gray and the Persian Cream. However, look closely and you'll notice how different the cups are. Not the same cup design at all. Okay, the handles are different, the shape of the cup is different, the opening size is different, and we will look at the plate, and the saucer is actually square with rounded corners. Flip it over, but it's the same colors, exact same glazes. Flip it over, and we see that it's Conversation, also made by Taylor Smith and Taylor, and they use the same Luray Pastels 5 glazes. They attempted in the 50s, I think 1951, to modernize Luray, because by that point it had already been around for like a dozen years or so, and they wanted to have a little bit more 1950s modern feel. So Walter Teague designed Conversation. It only had a run of like 4 years, but it's the exact same glazes used. Now, unlike Luray, where the gray is the rarest color, in Conversation, the surf green is the rarest color. But they all mix and match perfectly because it was the exact same glazes used with the rest of Luray. So I wouldn't object to setting a table with a combination of Conversation and Luray because the colors are all identical. Now, here's another interesting little tidbit. Look at this. Here we have another cup. Here we have this cup. Colors match perfectly. Looks like, you know, oops, I'll get a little bit better light here. We'll compare it to the lid. The colors match perfectly. It looks just like the Windsor Blue. However, again, you can see the difference in the handles. Handles are different. The cup shape is different. It's kind of fluted. It almost has like a rim. Opening is different. Flip it over. Made in Japan, but the exact same glaze as the Luray Pastels. I haven't been able to find the maker on that. I also did find a pink one with the saucer, again, made in Japan, and it matches the Sharon pink perfectly. As you can see, you could take that off, put that on. They kind of look like they were meant to go together. Take that off. We'll do a blue one with a blue cup. And you can see, looks like they belong together. But they don't, but you can mix and match if you ever happen to find any of those pieces. If you do have any information about who made these made in Japan ones, I would love to know, because it's kind of my unsolved mystery at the moment. So there you, oh, and what else do we have here? I also picked these up. I only have two, but I assume they're by Libby. I'm not sure, but with the bands and the pastel colors, they match. They look like they were designed to go with the Luray pieces. It's a perfect match, perfect fit. So I only have two of those. I'd like to find some more of those. So I guess I've covered all the bases. Hope you like the collection. Like I said, I'm up to about 91 pieces. Most of it was hand-me-down from my family. The rest I've picked up bit by bit over the years. Back in the 70s, when I first started adding to my collection, when I struck out on my own, you could pick this up kind of easily and fairly inexpensively. But now it's impossible to find in the wild. Certainly you don't find it at Goodwill or Savers or Salvation Army or any of those kind of places. I've never seen it in any other thrift store except one near my house, which is a high-end consignment shop. And but you can find them on eBay and Etsy. But be careful about what you're buying. Look around, because somebody could be selling a salt and pepper, you know, as a pair for like 25 or 30 bucks, but then somebody else might be selling an individual one for 10 bucks. So you can like hop around and kind of put a set together bit by bit. Like I said, I'm up to 91 pieces. I guess my goal is to maybe get up to 100 pieces. And I think I failed to mention they also made like a vase, a weird little bud vase, which is, again, very, very expensive, very rare. Ashtrays, nut dishes, pickle dishes, various odds and ends. But this is kind of the basic set. You could set a beautiful spring or Easter table, or any time of the year table with Luray. And very collectible, very popular, and very evocative of the 1940s, 50s, and 60s. Hope you enjoyed. Visit me at my Etsy shop. I'm Vintage Thrift Guy. Shout out to Michelle from Thrifting 101. And stay tuned. We'll see you soon. Also, Two Broke Guys on YouTube. They're has some really interesting vintage glassware videos up, and Scott's Old Curiosity Shop. So, thanks. Enjoy April. Happy Easter. And I'll talk to you again soon.